I think I just better keep this view, because if I change the view, it might freeze again. So you can see the composition. That's important. Okay, I want to just make a mark of the middle line, and then maybe another middle, just like a quarter line here, near the bottom of the foreground. And if you check the original proportion of this composition, you will see that approximately 6:4, maybe even 7:3. So the upper part is all in one giant. It's given to the host, the dominant peak or the mountain, right? So if I draw with a pencil, you can roughly set the highest point. But there are several layers. You can see the first peak, or you want to say what it might call the front. I call it a stone nose. This is a stone nose. The front of the stone is roughly there, and then it goes up a little more there, right? And then further up. So to make an analogy, let's see if I have something here to show you. Just imagine that you have a stack of poker cards, one in the front, right? And then the second kind of overlap, so you have like a stack of cards. They cover each other. So just make some. You can just make squares, like cards. So this arrangement of space is very important. The proportion, the angle of the cliff, and you can use a pencil. You don't have to draw. Just make some marks, and just try to see the. You see that you can just make a imaginative stack of cards and getting smaller. So it becomes smaller in the distance, right? But still flat, like a Yosemite. Have you been in Yosemite? If you know, yeah, there's a flat on the top, right?
Like behind each other, like
right. And then here is another stack. You only see the left side, but in between this, there's valley, right? Not valley, stream or waterfall. There's a waterfall there. A white, it goes like a little Z shape going down, and then something like that. So this is very important to keep in mind, the proportion. So when you do a landscape, the front of the near ground or the foreground usually is large. If you're standing there, take a picture and looking up, this rock may block the view, right? So in landscape, traditional landscape, they treat this like a sand model of a battlefield. In that you are maybe you are familiar with the 3D model of landscape, right? You're looking at the landscape from a bird's eye view, right? So yeah, everything is in the original proportion. We call it universal scale. Universal scale is like the proportion of the mountain, the tree, and the house, and the people, always the same, regardless the illusion of eyeball, or camera. Because if you look at through a lens, you see the foreshortening, and the rock or tree in front of the lens or the eye become elusively large than the mountain, right? So in this stage, we just set up the proportion. Now I'm going to do just a very brief contour line if you want to follow. Okay, yeah, you show me your sketch first. Yeah.
Just grabbing a pencil.
Yeah. So another note I want to share with you. This giant is a elk, right? How do you say this green giant on the left? This mountain, you can imagine the mountain has a wide shoulder like this giant.
Oh, similar.
And looking down the rocks under. Yeah, so the west of the mountain is kind of shrink a little bit. So it's like this kind of triangle.
Oh, like a V shape.
V shape. Yeah, so that's all against the common perspective in Western painting, because if you look at the mountain, on the upper portion, you're looking at very much like an eagle, eagle's eye, and you're kind of flying through so you're looking at from the top down and then leveled, so the horizon stays on the very top, and then there's another horizon near the bottom here on the about 1/5 maybe place here. Yeah, it's movable focus or level. We call it a high perspective. So the eye level moves vertically. It to form a long hanging scroll. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Or if it moves horizontally, it will produce a hand scroll, like a horizontal scroll. So that's so I would roughly draw some just control marks, and then we will basically show you how to color. So I'm not going to spend too much time on the contour, on the texture, the modeling of the rock. I just need a rough kind of. Can you see my? I want to. You have a whole view. Still, you can see the place of the rock in the whole thing, not just the area you're working on. So you can make a little cliff here, and then don't worry about the trees. We can ignore the tree, but you can leave some bricks if the tree trunk may appear in the front. Just to let them peek through. So that's my foreground, and then here is the entrance of the. Let me see. There is a little trail. So I think we need to make it narrower. I had to change that a little bit. Okay, so the trail is like this much, because if you make it the trail too big, the mountain will appear too small. You want to make the people, it's just like in this small scale, we don't really want to paint the donkey and the travelers. So this is the middle ground. Actually, I start from the middle. And then the foreground, just a piece of rock. You just simplify it. Just simplify it into a shape like that. And it cuts the road in the middle, and the road continues this way. So you can see a hill of the cliff here, and then the edge of the road here is kind of flat, and there's some rock here on the other side. So not like a highway, it's kind of rugged according to the
like a mountain trail.
The mountain, yeah, topography, whatever you call it, topography, yeah. Okay, so some large stones, some small stones, like here also. Among this group, you should also have like a large and a small. So this is not a good example. The three looks like a same size, so you can combine them maybe into one and make a small one, and then large one, middle one. So usually just do it in large, small, and then middle. And here there's some because when you have a mortar fall here, right, falling down here, you have to have an exit here. So there's a fall here. There's a bridge crossing there. So this kind of detail is very important to make give the water source and the flow. It also connects the qi, the movement of energy. So this is we can do the trees later. So just the mountain. Actually, you can see I made another mistake. So the mountain, this one in this section, this is the host. It's the highest point. So this should be lower. And I just make, maybe this is the tree line, that's fine. So this is the mountain. So you can use light ink to draw like a pencil if you don't use pencil. So this, keep it less than 1/3. And this is the foreground. It's only maybe 2 or 1 or 2, maybe 2, yeah, out of 10 in proportion, right? So this is the middle ground. And then we're going to do the, I won't say this is a distant, we call it high distance. It's a distant mountain or the monumental landscape, right? So this is the middle, and here's the heel of this rock. And we'll add trees and then buildings later. We just give it under painting structure for the, we call the trees like cloths, clothing, or the mountain wears. It's like a human's clothing, and the water is like the blood, the veins of the mountain, right? Okay, here we're going to do the spine of the mountain on top. Are you ready? Okay. So make sure there enough space for the mist. So you don't want to paint all the way down to overlap with this. So to make the mountain feels higher, you put the mists in the middle. Mist is different than clouds. There's no boundary, okay, no shape. When you're in the mountain, you see the mists in the trees and the rocks, just like a fog, right? So they're just softer. So and just make your line gradually disappear. That's how it works. You can use a stiff brush like this to draw the rocks. Yeah, this is called a
bamboo brush. Right?
Yeah, bamboo is good. I use a moss starch brush. Yeah, that's what I'm using. So I just use again using gray ink, not too dark at this point. So just draft, yeah. So do the nose of the stone. Okay, the stone nose. Do you want me to zoom in? Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, it's a little hard to see.
Okay, let me. But if I focus on the area, you lose track on the proportion. Maybe give you a wrong impression. You may paint the rock too big, so maybe paint larger. So in larger stroke, that's okay. So I'm going to do this rock, and remember I always talk about the kind of division of left and right. It's like a Y shape, and you may have a little, it's a V cutting on here, and then you can, we don't just treat the sample painting as if you're looking at a real landscape, not copy exactly what you see, but try to do the understanding. Like if you understand the basic geometric shape, it's a square or a rectangular or a diamond, and then the overlapping create a depth. Okay, so you just create a front card, like I said, and then just find a place for and just overlap. Yeah. So I'm gonna just paint the idea, not the trace of this master copy. Okay. So here I just use a large stroke shape to shade or shape the same thing for me. The bank of this waterfall. I did some. Now you can it start to show, right? So when I do the rock, I also shape the void, the water. So mountain and the water produce each other here. So it shapes the water here. Waterfall in between, and some rocks protruding, some kind of kind of break, so it's not a smooth bank. It become rugged here, some overlapping in the front of the other. So here is a stone, a little nose stone here. You don't have to copy exactly, but try to get all those elements going there, in and out, something like that. And use dry brush at the bottom. Later we'll do the wash. At this point, we just kind of soft, make it disappear in the mist, in the void. Yeah, just like that. So since we're going to use a lot of colors, so we'll leave more space because here I wanted the strongest dark and light contrast. Right, so I washed it, and then you can make another several falls. I can use some dark so you can see some. It become narrower because the higher the farther, right? The higher the farther in this perspective, it become narrower and smaller. So just use a dry brush stroke to blocking those rock on the sides, and there are trees hiding the top of the water, so there's no pool of water visible, but you should indicate the water with gradation. Not vegetation suggests water. Where the water comes, there's a lot of jungle kind of. So you can just use dots.
The trees grow by the water.
Yeah. They become. So that's the main focal line. So if you can see that, and you can alternate the side of this bank. This one side may be harder on the left, some side, so that's the soft is softer on the east, harder on the west. So you can alternate that. It creates more interest. Okay, I'm going to do the higher level on top. Let me see. So here is the dragging vein. We're talking about the spine or the ridge line, right? So the ridge line is like a dragon of the animal or mountain, or tiger or any, dragon's back. So you can imagine that line goes like this towards the left. Let me draw this first. It goes upper and upper, overlapping each other, and we can make those first, and then you can add a little kind of small rock, just like those bones you can see on the spine of us. What do you call this? Little rock on top of the spine, on the ridge line, the dragging line. Okay, and some inner shapes. So again, look at your painting more instead of copy everything without looking at your own composition, because we are doing it at much small scale. We must omit more. Okay, but I want to make sure this is in the front. So let's complete that. And I mentioned there's fogs, mists there. And then the west of the mountain is kind of, instead of the slope expand, think about that giant oak, right? How do you say that, the name of this guy? The green giant?
Ogre, yeah.
Ogre. Yeah. So ogre shaped mountain. And so this is the west of the giant. So going kind of, instead of big belly, it's a not expanding but contracting here a little more. They're overlapping, right? And make sure that there are layers covering each other, right? This front is less texture, because when you look at the mountain from a side view, you see more wrinkles or more folds, right? No, that's why. Just like you see the cards, stacking of cards. Oh, I got some paper here to show you. That's good. I try to show you this. So the front mountain that has no faults. These lines are just about here, right? Can you see that? This, see the shadow here? So they're shaded, and on this side you see something like this, right? Something like that. You see that?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, yeah, just imagine something like this. It's going in and out. And there's mountain. So try to create a contrast in elevation level. So this one kind of cut in here in front of that. So this one is another middle mountain. We call this opening and closing relationship. This one is open towards the left, and this one goes in to close that. So they form a yin and yang pair of energy. See what I mean?
Yeah, I get those confused sometimes when I try to merge them together on accident. I know they should be separated.
Yeah, you see these two mountains we call closing. This is opening. So if you design a miniature landscape in a potted landscape, and you will put a main stone here, and then you balance with a smaller stone on the other side. That's what exactly this is. Okay, and let's complete the top of the peak with its narrower lines, maybe a little, but not too much lighter, huh? This is so there's a cliff very straight, and looking for this little vein or spine. It goes again towards the right and then turns to the left somehow. If it doesn't really show, you want to sometimes emphasize on that, because it won't go wrong if you emphasize on the twist. This dragon man.
Because sometimes the direction changes on me.
Yeah, it always directions.
Seems, yeah. Then you have to correct it.
You need to emphasize on, exaggerate the movement to get it's more in into the shape like a living animal, or the movement, yeah, just like we name the mountain usually like a dragon or clawing tiger or flying dragon or something very
like an animal.
Yeah, animal, like the energy of the mountain. So I started that, but you don't have to. I sometimes I just cover my mistakes. I just want to make clear. Just use dots to correct lines. So you can see my composition now. There will be some kind of platform for more trees, but it will be behind those trees. So you can make a little bit more texture if you feel like. Just to leave this area very empty right now. And there might be, I don't know how. I don't think it needs to outline, but on the original painting, I'll check later. You can watch the remote distant mountains, or you can add them as you like, without the outline. So the outline part is done. So this is the first step. Mainly focus on the division of ground, foreground, distant ground, and high distance ground. The top. So how it's going? Let me show you. See your composition. At least you should get the proportion right for this. For this, yeah. Let me see.
It's funny that you were telling me that in the perspective. That's helped me a lot. I got one of these little view catchers.
But just keep the proportion like 6:3 or 7:3 or 6:4.
Okay.
And among this four, you see the foreground that may block views in the reality. It become proportional to the main mountain, not to keep blocking any views. Actually, it gives stage to the middle ground only. Yeah. So there's no vegetation on this foreground. So let's do the wash. I want to show you how to apply this color. So the first color you might want to apply is the brown color. But I will mix. I started already with some of light ink wash, right? You can do that just like a dry wash, scumbering they call it, with a dry brush, just to blur the line a little bit. Somehow it just create more texture at this here and there. So you can use very light, almost like if I scale the ink, so far we only supposed to use maybe half, 5. If the 10 is the darkest, and then use like 1 or 2 just to kind of shade a little bit or bring together some shapes, just to remind yourself, the block, and leave this trail kind of light, and you can separate the side with this road, this covering road, and I think you can use water just to create the mist a little bit, so you can see the boundary is now, and just use water, very light ink, dry brush into wet to create this mist kind of, and see the dry brush also create the soft blending into then this will be the trees, I think. So if we just give the rock a very, very light ink wash, will create more natural color. If you don't use ink at all and start using the greens, it will be very chalky and natural. Yeah. So I'll just harmonize.
The mist first before the colors and everything.
Yeah, we do the ink wash.
Yeah.
It's not wash. I just call it shaping or modeling, or it's like a in between wash and the shading. It's you can wash it, but I like the texture, so I dry wash yeah, a little bit. So just so you can see the mess, not just the contour, right? And I still leave this white water untouched. So that's, if you eliminate all the white, just use a very, very light ink, and the water will show here, right? You see, that's what it does. But we don't really do the sky with any color. Just leave that out.
It kind of gives it light and dark contrast.
Yeah, but we will add more if you yeah, just at this point we just blocking in the shape, just get the grays, what you call the mid value, or mid-tone, right? Yeah. Half tone, that's what they call it. Half tones. Yeah. Half tones. So you can dry it with a hair dryer, or I just use iron to avoid the noise. So it's better to protect the iron with another sheet of paper, I think. We find it. I just use some sized paper, so it's not taking any ink away. And you can use parchment paper if you have for baking, for bakery.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of paper is very good for this. Or you can use hair dryer to dry it. Because if you keep painting wet into wet, it will start to bleed, right? So we fix every layer before we continue.
Dry in between, yeah. I usually use a fan to do that, like a little small fan.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, small fan will work. Okay, I just fixed the. You can also see the true value of those ink, so not very dark, right? All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is to wash the bronze, as I mentioned. Let me see. Do you use watercolor or use Chinese color or Maris? Yeah, I don't have Maris in hand. Okay, I use the Japanese block. So my bronze is only I use a lot of bronze. So I still have some. That's good. So I use brown color, and you can use amber in Maris, but very diluted. See this, very diluted. The color may be too red for on this, so I will add a little yellow maybe to or yellow ochre color. So you can mix the brown with the red, blue, and the yellow, right? Just adjust it. Don't use the color right outside out of the tube. It might be too red, so you can add a little bit of this or that. But it's a kind of warm color to start, and then we'll do the cools, the blue and the greens. So if you look at let me see, I use a piece of testing paper here. It's very light like this. Okay, yeah, very light color. So just wash the from the bottom of the rock and shady part. They're warmer. You can wash this whole bank, but you can change the hue later. We don't blend the colors in the palette, so the combination of the red, this I consider red, and the green or yellow and the blue will produce more sophisticated colors with layering, glazing and layering. So at this point, let's just make it easy. I just blocking all this. Even the trail you can have a little bit brown, I think, just a little more than the ink line. It will still leave it white. And this is the underpainting. So this water is cool. There's a stream, some water for there, but the bridge is kind of warm. The trees should be green, no brown. So I just stopped there. So it's from this you can see my rocks, right? I just do all the rocks in this light, very light brown color, very soft brown color. Because I got green ink on it, so it's not purely brown. It's a little bit gray, brown gray. Very light, please. Yeah. Do not use if I measure it, I'll say just like 1 to 2. It's like the leftover coffee, and then when you wash it, it's not. There's no coffee at all, just leftover. When you when you wash the cup, not any coffee in it.
That's a good example. I know.
Just like the leftover coffee, and then you start to wash, you will see some kind of stain, but not brown at all. Gray, yeah, it's very pale. So I cannot. Sometimes we use an analogy of cooking. If the colored out of tube is yogurt, then we add water to make it like cream, right? And then the milk. This is just clean water. Maybe it's like the Chinese tea or something, very pale. The Chinese tea kind of very light. No brown on the trees. So just stay with the rock. Stop at the rock. Yeah. So you want to make it gradually disappear. You add water to the bottom just to blend it in a little bit, so they don't have a hard edge. You can bring all the edge, because it might form a water stain. So you bring all the wash down into the mountain here. But this is clean water, okay? There's no color. It's just to eliminate the hard edge. So I just use water to blend in, okay? And you can just use clean water. Water actually helps to stop bleeding. So if you want to keep this white, you use clean water to keep it white. And including here, it's a stream. I want to keep it white, right? Something. If you want to keep this road white, you can also use water. That's it. I think we don't have to do the remote until the very last. There might be some mountains in pale lavender or green. Blue later. So you can dry it now to fix this layer. If you keep working, the color on top of it will blend into the other, or maybe smear. So you want to fix each layer. So I use the heat to set it, just to set this. And after it dries, it shows lighter color too. And you can always add to it. Don't go over. Don't do it too dark, right? Actually, in Western painting colors theory, the brown may not appear in the top mountain because the area perspective, there's more blue atmosphere. So you can use lighter brown, and the more brown reddish. You can see here is more red, right? More water here, but still some warmness, because this is supposed to be very close to the viewer. You just looking up, yeah. Okay, so it don't have to dry completely. If 80%, maybe sometimes you can see the steam. 85% maybe it's enough. If you don't make it crispy, dry, it might be too dry. So I like a little moisture, just like the moisture in the air today. We got very overcast day before rain's coming. Now I'm going to change the color into transparent green. So we don't have transparent green traditionally in Chinese palette. So we mix some blue and yellow to get that. So yellow, gamboge yellow. But in Japanese color here, you got greens already. Let me mix it for showing. You can use I think it's more like indigo, or you can mix different blues, indigo or cello. Either it depends on how intense, saturated you want. So for the spring landscape, right? We want to have something more yellow, maybe these days, right? Everything tends. We have a lot of rains, so the hills is really green or yellow. Now it's got flowers, so it's just a seasonal theme color. I think if you paint it autumn, you will use more warm. So but now we have some more greens. So let's just wash the top of the hill, usually facing the sun. The yang side is more greenish. So later we'll use opaque color. I just want to create some saturation. The trees could be stronger, but we don't have time to do the trees. Maybe we just stay with light green for the rock. Just because you're in your area, the trees is not sprouting yet, right?
We just had the pollen usually lasts for a month, and then now they're starting to finally leaf out.
Oh yeah, we can still paint the winter trees on those early spring.
They're green now. They're starting to become green. Yeah.
Green. Oh, okay. Let's do the green. So I'll give more green here, just to indicate the season.
Oh, it's like a vegetation green.
Yeah. But more brown near the water or near on rocks, but more like vegetation. Yeah, or even moss, whatever. Okay. A little more yellow and then more blue, maybe more bluish on the top. Very light. Okay, very light. So they don't cover each other. They help each other. We just change you can use a large brush. It doesn't really matter what it is. I just give it an overall kind of color. Yes, because the gradation created by the ink or the value, light and the dark, is already set. So I have the light in some areas. So I just do flat wash, no gradation needed. You understand? Yeah, because the ink I did with some shading or some light effect, that helps to create the top. And now I just worry about the color, the hue. Okay, here you want to avoid that water line, the puddle edge. You just add water to the brush. You don't have to be clean water because it does have some color in the atmosphere, So basically, just water. But you can bring it all the way to the wet area, so everything is wet again, right? If you leave some part wet and some part, unless here you want a hard edge, so if you want to keep the white, you just add clean water in the. But I like the kind of clear water line here. I really like that. So just keep that hard edge is fine. Okay, do you see what I got here? That's the green transparent wash. Okay, you can use some variations like more blue, more yellow in certain areas, just to give a little bit. Just to give a little variation. Because we call it blue and green, so you can have some little more blue somewhere, in the shady area, maybe dark blue is darker than the yellow, so you can use. Don't have to be evenly, but I really don't worry like oil painting or watercolor painting. They're more realistic. We just be decorative, so it's just blocking in these colors. I got some yellow here, it's very striking. So I will make some trees later, if we have time. Okay. I enjoyed it, so a little longer will be fine with me to finish this. Okay, I'm going to dry it. Yeah. Okay. While you're doing yours, I'm going to dry it and let me see. I think you're doing very good. It's hot. I didn't turn off, so it's still hot. I like this iron instead of the fan or hair dryer, because it's not gonna blow the paper everywhere. And I have a control over where to do. So this is it makes it flat also. And you can, if the iron is clean, you can do it directly like that. And I can
use like a lot of weights for the fan when I use it, but you have to be careful because it can. Yeah. Sometimes if it blows too hard.
Yeah, that's the reason I don't like fans. So you can see I used a little bluish, very, very, very light, but it shows. So the mist start to appear. If it's not enough, you can still add, like ink. You can repeat any of those steps if needed. You can go back to outline to reinstate the lines, like if some lines become too blurry, you can give a little bit definition, and you can make the shady part a little darker, something like a little, what do you call, cuts, right? To make the lock the depths.
Oh, like contour, yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit corner or something, just to define the relationship a little better, the back and the contour. Yeah, the contour mainly is the last stage we'll do. But just let you know, you can do it at any time, but make sure you dry it before you continue, because if you wash over wet lines or texture, it might start to bleed. So you want to keep every stroke while you overlap them, right? That's the idea. So I would use this is the fun part. Are you using the thin paper, the mulberry paper, like I do?
Confucius paper.
Confucius. Yeah, you can use that. No problem. Not to paint the stroke, not to just flat, purely. So otherwise it will become too busy, right? I just make it. If you paint the H layer pretty like a glazing, it will make the painting look quite serene. If you paint a lot of with too much strokes or too much variation, it will the color jump everywhere. It will become unresting. You know, just people have.
So you're going for like a flatter.
Yeah, flat. Just keep it flat. Okay. Actually, the wash actually works to harmonize the ink, to reduce the contrast, to keep it into one big shape instead of making more shapes. You know what I mean? So well, I'm thinking to do it either on the front or the back. So this is what I do. I will combine two. So pay attention on this. So on the foreground, I'm going to do the color mostly in the front, maybe also on the back for a reason I'll show you. And then in the background, I will do it on the back, so that the color will show a different atmospheric perspective. So I use this opaque mineral green. And you can, because I already have other colors on the paper. You cannot use it alone. If you use it alone, it's too chalky. Yeah. So this is let's just test here. It will cover some ink color. It's okay. So you can always go back, right? That's what we want. If we and you can add a little bit darker color, maybe to change a little bit. There are three different grades in Maurice, but not here. I only got the medium, so I just add a little bit transparent colors to change the dark. What do you call this?
I have the big Maurice. I think it has 18
colors.
30.
Oh yeah, you have different. They call it grades, or
I think it's this one.
the number one is the darkest. Yeah.
592.
Yeah, just use number one and number two on the front, and number three maybe in the back. But you can adjust it. You can add any color to change the darkness. So yeah, I think this is the darkest green I will get, and then I will not add any other green. Just maybe even add white later. You can add white to make it lighter. Yeah. So now I'm going to. Or you can just add water. Actually, you don't have to add white. Just dilute it. Yeah. You see, these are on this side facing up or facing the sun with gradation, vegetation, right? So the brown is, you should keep some brown near the ground, and you can, if you do a flat wash, it might still work, because we have the brown mostly on the bottom, less on the front in the beginning. Yeah, see here, I just do a flat wash. See what's. Don't worry about little shapes. Do the big shapes. You can always add small details later. So I just kind of. Okay, here I want to apply some color on the back just to avoid, just make some variation. So you can see if I paint like this on the front, it might be too chalky, right? Like this.
Yeah.
So I put it on the front, on the back like that, and this.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed when I painted. If I just use that color, it'll blur it out like by itself.
Yeah.
I'm glad you told me that. That's probably, if it was something else, it would make it where it's not as chalky. You're right.
Yeah, you apply it on the back, especially with this opaque color. You need to put it on the back, unless you want to cover this. Like this mistake I made. I corrected. It's not a mistake, but you can make the ink lighter with the opaque green on this to make it light, and then you can go back to redefine it. So that's almost like a white, the function of using white to cover up. Yeah.
I still use that rule where you said if you make a mistake, turn it into a rock.
Yeah.
I do that all the time.
Right. Okay. You got it. So actually, in traditional painting, they don't apply this over the whole piece, only the yan part. So here, I missed some bronze. You can add it back later if you want to. I think it's a good idea to keep those bronze on the foot. And the brown and the green actually is complementary color, I believe.
Yeah.
The warm and the cool. It helps.
The spot you can bring it back like later on.
I just added back a little brown to the green. Okay, so you can see that warm help to make the green more natural. If it's pure green, it's kind of boring, chalky. Yeah. So let's do this part. I want to make it really pale, so I may add a little white to dilute this, and do it on the back. You can add a little blue to make it cooler, maybe just a little bit that, a little bit that, maybe a little ink. I just wash this dish.
White.
Yeah, very light. What do you call this color? Very whitish. Green, yeah. Basically, we don't want to use blue. So this is what I do. It's still wet, right? Not very dry, so that's good. A little moisture. See, I use scumbering brush. I start with wet here, and then the brush gets dry. That's good. I just use dry brush to soften it out on the bottom. Yeah. So you start from the area you don't want to worry. You don't worry about bleeding.
So it kind of blends it in together.
See, this is the top, but you don't want to go outside the contour. So you leave a little leeway. Just let it bleed. Don't go all the way to the edge. I really don't like the edge to. If that happens, you can stop it with blotting and iron or hair dryer. Just make sure you leave a little bit space and just be a little careful to drive inside instead of touching that line. Just let the puddle line expand gradually towards where you want. You drive it from behind. So you directed the traffic like that, and then when it's reached the desired edge, you keep it by iron it. Okay.
It's kind of just letting it do what it wants to do. But
Yeah. So you control that line completely without any accident. Because if you have that fuzzy line, it will not be nice, right? So let's just complete this part, this middle mountain hill, and I can add a little bit blue maybe to do this layer because a little bit cooler, and here maybe cooler on top. Just finish that, and let's see what looks like on the front. Okay, not too bad, huh? Yeah, I think let me see. Yeah, you like I said, you want to use large brush and just do the flat wash to bring the colors, the ink together instead of making more of its own strokes. So no stroke, just wash. Yeah, see, it's very soft. And then here you see strokes, right? So what do? You use clean water. You can use a sprayer, and I just use clean water. You touch the clean water, and then you start from the clean area. See that? Yeah, just to create a soft edge like that. So the water actually serves as a resist here to stop the ink or blend the ink together. Anyway. So it's all about water control, right? So that's my spring here. And on the tree, you can use the same brush and just dot the color with some green dots.
Maybe it's kind of like it's like blending the lines together because you're using a combination of the water, the different type of brushes, and then the dry and soft pools. Kind of makes it where it's more contrast instead of all the same.
Yeah. So the tree has more detail. I just dot those green dots mixed with. You can make multiple layers until you reach the desired mass feeling, like jungle or bushes. But you need to wait it each layer dry, and here we need to work a little more. I will continue to work, maybe make a recording to show you the complete process. Or if you want to stay, you can stay when I finish. Okay, I don't mind. Do you have others planned today?
No.
Okay, so we can continue to work. Okay, let me take a look of what the original painting is. This is the giant. This mountain is the earliest example of this kind of monumental landscape. It's even earlier than the Song Dynasty, I think. It's by a famous artist, Jing Hao. And you can see the monumental landscape start to take shape. And on the left is the river, Yangtze River. So you see the river bank is flat. So it's a combination of leveled perspective, which is the higher to the farther the higher, right? And then the taller the higher combined. The far and some landscape like this has a very different viewpoint. It kind of goes zoom in and out to suggest different perspective. If you look at the tree near this house, it's small, but tree on the right compared to the mountain is proportional. So this tree is on the right side is in proportion to the main peak. This tree next to the house is a proportion to the house. So it changes. But everything is organic. There's no seam line. Like if you take a picture of the house and then the picture of the distant mountain and bring them together with a camera, it's not easy. But that natural view habit, we look at the house and we look at mountain, we look around, and this kind of painting, you try to combine different perspectives.
It has to be proportionate to the distance.
There's a local proportion and a universal proportion. You have to follow all that. This is a cornered landscape of the southern zone, and this is a cornered landscape. Do you know the big wave of the Hokusai, a Japanese print? Yeah. That's similar to this kind of Tai Chi style. And this is a Western perspective. Not Western, it's a Chinese Song Dynasty perspective. It's very close to the lineal perspective, which means the near mountain is bigger, the near tree is bigger than distant, and it retreats or deceding, becomes smaller and smaller. So that's but this kind of landscape is not the mainstream because it's too much limited to the focal point, So you can only do something like this is small on a fan face. If you do a large scroll, this won't work.
This is like a scroll, this one's a fan.
Yeah, this is a fan, right. See, this is a scroll, this is a fan. That's the difference, you got it.
Yes. Yeah, I've noticed that when I use different type of papers, it really affects the outcome of the landscape.
Yeah, the format is very important. See, this is the giant landscape we're doing today. See, show you. Okay, can you see the whole thing? Now, this is the original landscape. So what I try to look is the distant mountain that we didn't do the outline. You can see that on the left there, you can use just a wash without the texture. I'll show you how to do that. Let me move my table across here. So you can see this area right here. There's a mountain slope there. It's the foot of this mountain. This mountain on top and behind is kind of far here. So we just use. Let me just blend a little bit blue, a little bit white maybe. I don't have the mineral blue. I try to make a mineral blue here, and you can have some green in it because we don't want to make the color too far from the rest of the painting. So here is there's a clouds. Actually, I should have some clouds in this valley. I missed it. I just realized that. So I have to look at the original constantly. So yeah, this is blocking the view. So I have to make some correction, maybe with white. This is the mountain behind, and just use water to blend in. This is the distant mountain, and you can have some distant mountain there. I think so. On the very top, right here, and here that's the foot of that. And I just cheat a little bit, see if I can. Let me turn it over. So if I use white, maybe we can bring back some chi or some air into this valley, going to the front. Just make the color lighter before it gets too dry, and just dry it. Okay, let's just to add this as a cloud in this. So use mist to separate layers. It's the lesson here. We try to fix. There's mist always between different layers, but there's no hard. In other words, there's no hard cross or hard tangent. It's always a buffer area with a mist, and so that softness in the back create the distance. Let me see. It's better. So I just fogged it out a little bit. Can you see it? I created a little mist there.
Yeah, I see that.
You can use opaque gray, blue, just to add. If you want to reduce the ink value, you just apply a very thin milk, like here, just white with some color in it. You don't want to use pure white. I got some ink, some green, some green in it. Yeah, and then just to gray it out. So that's a lesson. And you can. I do see on the original there's some brown colors. So you want to dry it first, otherwise it will start to bleed into the white. Some moisture is fine. And let me see, just kind of yellow. So if the color tends to be too cool, you just add some warm color or orange color, brown color back. The print on the computer, I will send you this original later, has some kind of electric color, I call it. Computer screen color. They don't really affect the original. I saw this original painting in Taipei, also a good replica in China, and I know that they are not so colorful. They are very subtle. Okay, to make analogy, it's like a mountain in moonlit night, Yeah, or you see it in twilight. When you imagine if you hang this in your living room or your bedroom. You don't want to have a sunshine all the time, right? Sometimes you just want to meditate to sleep. So this kind of mountain landscape bring you peace and calmness instead of excitement. So it's like going to a church to worship. It's the sublimity. It's not sublime. No, right. Just like a very. They don't use the same light as in a concert. It's even in a concert they turn off the light. So light always.
Relaxing atmosphere.
Yeah, related to the kind of mood. Yeah, so it's a very moody landscape. Yeah. So I just add a little bronze here and there to the chili part, and you can add just a little bit intense color like here to the middle ground instead of separate them like two paintings. I want to make some concentration and the distribution, or so you want to have some of this color also on this main mountain in the front this time. The rest so far is on the back, right? I just add a little touch of saturated color here to highlight. So this feels same mountain, and I will add more detail after it dries. So this is the structure of this painting. Let's do the bridge. I think I
can see how the little trees really define the waterfall when they're on each side like that.
Oh, the waterfall, I think, okay, if you look at the original painting, let me enlarge it. You can see the waterfall is very narrow. There's a the wet rock color around it. You see the rock, the waterfall. So we need to go in and make the waterfall a little darker with green, gray, maybe a little bit, a lot of ink. Yeah. Let's see. There's a this shape is must to correspond to the site of the fall. You see, if this rock comes in like that, so you need to, and then you can have a little split, but not in the middle. Right? You can be on the side. I simplified it. Yeah, it's like that. So that there's a little split there, and you can make the upper stream narrow by just define this line a little bit more. But it's pretty thin. I like that kind of feel. Straight down, falls straight down. Don't have too much curves. I think that it balances with the upward movement of the mountain. So the mountain kind of rising, right? And the waterfall goes down to balance that. And there's a little area that has a little kind of pull here, right? And there's some stage. Anyway, my painting is not going to work exactly like that, but I want to show you some ideas. You can see that's the idea of the different stages of this fall. It's like a stage, yeah. Think about it like a stage. It's going
a lot more to it than it looks.
Yeah. If you look at the detail here, this actually area is pretty dark, but I think I like to keep the white because he used light to squeeze out. Yeah, just make the source a little mysterious. It's fine like that. I think it's good enough. Disappear in the jungle here. Just hide the source a little more there. But there's a principle that goes, down and it takes little steps here and step there, become larger and larger. So that's a general trend. And you can see the texture of this mountain. It's a huge painting. It's like a mirror. Yeah. I want to consolidate more. Do you feel like spring? It's supposed to be. Let me see here. I think there's some rocks. When you have two corners like this, okay, this is a good lesson. You want to have one corner. This side is a little bit more open, right? And you want this side more. You have the chi going one direction, not going from right to left. That's the direction the traveler goes. So you want to have some rock to block this corner. So not leave both corners empty. That's the principle, I think. This one is void, empty, right? So this one not. So just to make this part different. Oh, I think the camera frozen. Sorry. I did a bunch of stroke, it didn't show. I'm gonna restart the camera. Let's see if I can fix it.
I remember you were telling me that last class that we did, you were telling me that the chi has to go through the painting without blocking.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, let me see if there's a way I can do it. I'll just do it without shutting down the... I have to find a procedure to fix this. It happens frequently. Okay, still there. Well, seems not easy to fix. I have to stop the camera.